It's funny how I haven't made a Dragon Ball Death Battle review despite it being one of my absolute favorite series that Death Battle has used, and it's literally also my childhood. I've been meaning to make a GB versus RF review, and slowly try and make a review for every single Dragon Ball fight that's been on Death Battle, but that will have to wait since Friezatron came out, and here I am making a literal video after Gojo versus Makima. I am horrible with timing, I will tell you that. But I will say this, after a horrible week I had leading up to Colex, this was a breath of fresh air where I actually gave a damn about the characters. It actually was interested in the debate. Megatron and Frieza are two of the few villains I feared as a young lad, whether it had been Frank Welker's performance, Hugo Weaving's
There's only two genders.
Frank Welker again, but he took some cough drops.
The fact is, Starscream, despite your treachery, I've allowed you to carry on this long because I took a certain delight in following your string of failures. But you finally become tiresome, predictable. You've hit rock bottom.
Or Corey Burns' performance as Megatron. The same goes with Frieza, whether it had been Linda Young's performance. She was fucking amazing, by the way. Met her, and she was amazing. I'm sorry. Or the man who sadly passed away way too soon, Chris Ayres. May that man forever rest in peace. These two are my childhood, and I honestly had a soft spot for this matchup. Despite it being hated because of a certain video. Oh man, I wonder what the hell that came from. It honestly is a neat matchup, but did Death Battle stick the landing and give these two deceptive tyrants respect? Let us see. Oh, and before we really begin, they fucking changed their thumbnail 3 times, and I find it hilarious how the second one was just fan art galore. Okay, now onto the review. Instantly, I already love Frieza's analysis, saying on how he looked, he was a little.
Oh, he's adorable!
Instantly showing how destructive he is. It's a Toriyama staple, and I'm glad they sort of acknowledge it this way. Hell, even them mentioning how he was meant to sort of be a real estate speculator, showcasing his real origins, is nice. I love seeing this kind of shit. I want them to reference this kind of stuff for Dragon Ball characters, which makes me honestly happy. If Cell ever comes on, I just want them to just reference the fucking shit out of how Toriyama was just pushed into the ground and told, hey, this guy does not work. Change it again. No, change it again. You know, I want to see that. I'm happy I get to see this. Oh, and hey, they brought up the universe stuff again. Woo! But hey, at least it's presented differently this time than just saying it again, which is better. Also,
The albino dildo he is, Frieza has survived being pounded by Broly.
But also, just hearing them present Golden Frieza and then Black Frieza was so cool. Even if we only do just get bits of what the Super manga has offered. Also, this felt extremely weirdly fast. Seriously, it was surprisingly swift with everything. It ended on a little note on how Frieza was gonna rule the world, the universe, with an iron, cold grip. Nice. Just nice. But Megatrons! Okay, let's just get something clear. This is what the black box says.
Composite Megatron is fucking outer!
Not a composite. Only using G1 and IDW because 1. Composite Megatron would obliterate Frieza. 2. G1 and IDW are pretty much the most iconic versions of the character, and you have to sort of weave people into who only know the iconic cartoon series. Plus, other footage is just B-roll for the audience. 3. Could we have just gotten G1 and its Japanese continuity? Yes. I don't know why they didn't do that, but we must now accept it. Are we good? Good. Let's begin Megatron's analysis review. My only real issue is that they made 3 jokes about him being a toy, and they kind of made a jab at Frank Welker's performance, and honestly I find it not necessary. The gun joke though was necessary, and I loved it. Other than those criticisms, damn, was this good! I peeked the shit out of this microphone. Oh fuck. This was a really good analysis, and I loved hearing on how they just talk about Megatron's story and how it's just a war for the sake of it being a war. A win just to take that win. And honestly, hearing Boomstick even saying,
What?
to Megatron switching sides and ending it off on how he truly transformed was, oh my god, nice! Seriously, read some IDW lore. It's amazing. But they fucked up the Meat quote 0 out of 10. Okay, now onto the actual fight. Let's get the massive sort of topic out of the way. The storyboards. It's no secret that storyboards are done at the beginning of the process of the animation and after everything is finished scripting. They are the blueprints of animation. But unlike Madara vs. Aizen and Thor vs. Vegeta, where some of the scenes were cut but it felt like the same fight, Frieza-tron had so many scenes that were just removed, extended, or altered beyond belief to the point that half of the wiki's trivia page is just this. Going over everything would be a hassle, but I'll go over some of the major bits, just so we can have some clarity on what was missed out. The intro scene, for instance, is massively changed to sort of be in line with what they said here.
While he usually lets his weird, multicolored alien grunts do his dirty work for him, Frieza's not afraid to throw down himself.
The panic bubble scene is massively longer in the storyboards, which sort of explains the weirdness on why it's just a Frieza flying out of the bubble in just one punch. The tank scene is a little longer and the Golden Frieza scene is cut down significantly. Megatron stands his ground as the planet is pulled towards the death ball. They have a brief little scuffle after Megatron yells out "my planet" instead of just the eye lasers, and Frieza tries his hardest to escape the antimatter. Though the pose is still the same, so we still winning. I could, again, say more, but we're really beginning into the nook and cranny of things just to point out that Megatron's left nut bolt is just loose in one scene. Especially when this was animated by one guy, that being Devil Artemis, who did an animation already in this very season, that being Obito vs. Vader. And hell, he was doing this on a completely separate engine, that being Blender. Like seriously, some of these shots are wallpaper worthy. I would know that from experience. Anyway, let's actually begin talking about the fight. The animation begins with Frieza's mothership and his armada slowly approaching Cybertron as it blocks out the planet, with Megatron standing out in the atmosphere waiting for the ship to come to a halt. Once it stops, Frieza pops out and begins speaking. Is that Martin from TFS / Lil Karibo? Damn, this is already a 10 out of 10. Hell yeah. And of course, Martin does a good job at voicing the tyrannical ruler, and it seems Tom Schultz is voicing Megatron, giving his best Frank Welker. And man, does he do a damn good job. I'll start gushing when those times arrive. Anyway, Megatron speaks.
I have fought for my planet for eons. I would rather see it turn to ash than reside in your filthy hands, organic scum.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
And he pretty much just tells Frieza to fuck off.
Fuck off!
And Frieza pulls out the, oh hell yeah, we're having a reference up in here. Oh hell yeah, I'm so keeping count on this bitch. We get this honest to god amazing scene of it approaching Cybertron before Megatron just blasts it away, bouncing right back at the tyrannical ruler, who just sits there and lets himself get consumed and uses it as a way to transform. That's sick as all hell. Now some people might be wondering, where is Frieza's second and third form? Don't act like you give a crap about those forms. This isn't a Vegeta situation where he immediately jumps to evolved and skips many awesome transformations, but Frieza's final form is pretty much his base, and like they said,
Frieza was so crazy strong that unlike most Dragon Ball characters who transform to get stronger, Frieza transforms to get weaker.
So it fits.
Kitty, I'll have to construct a new mothership from your corpse.
Oh, that's so cool!
Frieza says as he sends a death wave at Megatron, who does use the panic bubble on himself, but not for Cybertron as it gets hit by the death wave, the first of many collateral damages to the planet that Megatron swore to protect. Megatron immediately tries to fire back at Frieza, but he's too damn small and quick for Megatron to hit him, who Frieza mucks him for being a clunky size before being trapped in the panic bubble, and it's done. I know we just talked about the storyboards, but damn it! I wish we spent more time in the panic bubble rather than Frieza getting sucker punched, bounced, and flung out through the panic bubble despite it going against what they said.
But that's only until you realize it won't let them back out again. That's when the panic part comes in. Megatron's not trapped in there with you. You're trapped in there with him.
Ignoring my massive disappointment, Frieza crashes down. Ooh, reference! Now, what is the reference? It's just a simple killing up pose. Well, It's a reference to Frieza's pose in the Dragon Ball Super manga when he arrives on Planet Cereal in chapter 87. It's just a front-on view and his hands are a little mixed up. Yes, the name of the planet is Planet Cereal. Roll with it. Also, do not ask on how I somehow knew that when I first watched the episode. I just did. Frieza slowly charges up the death beams and rapidly fires many of them, but for fucking Megatron uses his mace and whips it around and twirls it and shoots that hoe at Frieza. Then Frieza just dodges it and just goes around Megatron before getting tagged. Awesome. Then Megatron smirks and begins firing rapidly at the tyrant dildo looking lizard, showing that despite having a massive character arc, he does have that little sadistic side of him that takes pleasure in this destruction. Frieza then flies out, they have a little skirmish before Megatron loses sight of him and realizes Frieza was right behind him and encases him in an imprisonment ball and pushes his ass into Cybertron and oh my goody lord. Like, genuinely, this is amazing looking. The wonders of fucking blender. Once that is done, Frieza loses sight of the robot hither and wonders where the hell he is before turning around and oh my good lord, textures are missing. 0 out of 10.
And I was actually looking through frame by frame to make sure I wasn't just seeing things. You can actually see that they did not change the background at all between Dio's shot when he's flying through the sky.
But it is a blink and you miss it moment, and really I didn't notice it until I had to look at the wiki page before the trivia. Ignoring that. Okay, can you stop having a cool moment for just 1 second? Okay, and then oh wait, why don't you go white? Okay, bias aside, this does take up a large amount of the time in the animation, and really it should have been sped up. But my reaction to seeing this for the first time will be a moment I remember, for I went for a fucking monkey upon seeing this gorgeous recreation of the anime's transformation. So while I get the criticism and how long it took away from the scenes that needed it, this is something I can look over since the Golden Frieza transformation was done so well. Plus the music! Oh! The track is slightly altered around so it can fit the animation, but the main track is oh! Final Form is fucking awesome. According to band, it's pretty much the opposite of Wings of Iron, and yeah, I would say it is. Especially with how Wings of Iron, it feels like it's a massive adrenaline rush with hope and you feel like you can do anything. Final Formers is like an adrenaline rush, but it feels like you have a blackened star in your heart and makes you feel like you can fight anything that moves. Branding Gates and Dragon Ball make for some of the best tracks in Death Battle's history. Don't fucking at me. Okay, enough gushing about the track. Okay, maybe just listen to it one more time.
24 hours later.
Okay, I'm back. Where were we? Why are you so cool looking? Seriously, this scene looks so gorgeous. And what follows is Megatron looking at the Death Ball approaches as he faces the end of the world. But he chooses to win over saving what he holds dear. His planet. Turning his cannon around and launches himself into the Death Ball and fires his damn fusion cannon and holds his blast back. Holy shit! This is a damn highlight of the fight! Aside from this little moment that is playing on your screen. Oh, I think I had an animator orgasm right there. That was fucking amazing. Whew! Surely this scene will be looking better, and oh my goody lord, that looks gorgeous. Wallpaper! Now with Cybertron having a new anus, Megatron is down on the ground with Frieza descending and of course giving the most obvious of obvious references, but a very much welcome one. Megatron, reasonably pissed, yells out,
My planet!
and shoots his own eye lasers before being immediately countered by Frieza with his own, piercing through Megatron's eyes and causes him to monologue. The monologue is one of the best damn things in this episode, and this is where Tom Show fucking kills it. He's been killing it all fight, don't get me wrong there, but this is where he truly excels. He sells Megatron's anger and frustration. You can hear it in his voice and the disdain he holds towards Frieza, but most importantly, his condescension. And this sort of calls back to Frieza's line about how he loves it when they monologue back. Only when he's fully in control and is intimidating his opponent does he love it. However, Frieza is being talked down, talked back by a being who was on his knees not even a few seconds ago. Someone who doesn't fear him anymore, and now is talking so much bad shit about him. How he is all alone, no army, no ship, and is now a lord / ruler of a dying planet, Megatron's planet, and leaving it off with this chilling line.
What a...
This causes Frieza to instantly transform into black in anger and makes his threats to try and intimidate the Cybertronian, but that long has passed as Lord Megatron grants Frieza his death. A fool's death. Only then does Frieza snap out of his anger and look around, only to see the antimatter surrounding him before being consumed as his screams could be heard in the vacuum of space. As the music fades, Megatron laughs in his victory with the
You will die by my hand! Champions must kill them all.
I suddenly know what having sex felt like in those moments in time. Okay, but to break it all down, Frieza lived with half his body intact, ding, and yelling out to Megatron that he would die by his hand, ding. Megatron calls Frieza a fool for the third time, ding, and the Death Saucer sliced through Megatron's blast, causing the planet to explode. All that is left is nothing but space dust and himself, making a vow to himself that he will kill all Cybertronians. As fucking tier ending in my eyes. But of course, I do have to be very fair, and so I do have some criticisms about this ending. Megatron was sliced too quickly and really should have lingered around a little longer so it could really sell the shock. Think towards Thor vs. Vegeta's fake out where it lingered around to think, oh, maybe Thor died, before extending the hand out to sell the moment. Hell, it should have been like the actual scene where Frieza gets cut. Also, fading the music a tad bit would have helped a bit more. Also, Martin's delivery on "You will die by my hand" felt off. It felt like he was more annoyed rather than pissed off that Megatron almost killed him. The rest is fine, especially Martin's final delivery, and the lighting and animation is so gorgeous. Oh my god, I'm about to gush again. But then there's a massive elephant in the room, and it's Black Frieza himself. Earlier in the fight, Frieza turned black out of a fit of rage with little to no buildup. Hell, it was like Broly level of bad in terms of transformation. It happened and he didn't do much, which made people feel off-putted and expected him to at least do something instead of being thoughtarized. But, this is a massive but. I find it hard to really consider it awful. Let me show you all the pages that Black Frieza was shown in. He showed up in 6 pages only to whip out his non-existent dick, punch, and just left. To me and many others, Black Frieza was just there and didn't matter, even if it was Frieza's newest and most powerful form. That's why many people freaked out when Frieza came back and were like, man, Frieza does have this in the bag. Many people were like, fuck no! Please don't let this be true! No! I don't want the Dragon Ball Will Strike to live! But I would be lying if I didn't mention that I was very scared when Megatron hit us with the "You Fool" line and was actually going to take the W. Also, there wasn't much for Black Frieza to do. He was being surrounded and eventually consumed by the antimatter. Plus, it does go into their conclusion on how Frieza is too much about power and intimidation over smarts, which Megatron had. Some say it was a massive sweep for Frieza, and honestly,
No.
no. A sweep would be Thor vs Vegeta or Goku Black vs Reverse Flash, where the comic book characters took all the categories in speed, smart, stamina, hacks, and especially power and attack potency. Megatron at least had 3 win cons according to Death Battle: his tenacity, his genius, and the antimatter. Frieza had power, speed, durability, which can be negated by the antimatter, and resilience. Other than that, oh my god, I love this episode, and it honestly brought me so much joy that this episode was as good as I wanted it to be. Of course, it can be tweaked around. No episode is perfect. I can even bring that up to my friends and they can even say, oh yeah, my favorite episode could use some work. But I can't help but love this episode so much. So what's my rating? Well, it's a 10 out of 10. I said on how it has many flaws, but somehow I can overlook some of them because the overall package is so damn amazing. Thank you for stopping by, even if this review is kind of done and should not be here because Gojo vs Makima is here. But I hope I make more of these. I hope I can make Gojo vs Makima before Courage the Cowardly Dog and Scooby happens. I hope I can do that at least. But again, I would like to thank everyone and thank you for even checking this video out. Appreciate your love and support, means a lot to me. Thank you. Also support Malenia vs. A if it ever comes out onto the Death Battle polls. Please, my friend likes it and she's the creator. And please, I paid money. Please help.